What are you addicted to that is perfectly legal? Disuka said. Ever use one of those ear rinse squeeze ball things? They're about $5 at the pharmacy. You fill it with warm water and squeeze and it flushes out your ear. As a fellow cotton swab addict, I suggest about 10 flushes in each side and you might be shocked and awed by what comes out. Edit. https://www.amazon.ca/30ml-earwax-remover-cleaner-adults/dp/b07rq83441. That's what I use. Sorry, more than I remembered, but looks like others are posting kits that are a little more advanced. I might have to level up. Edit 2. A couple points people keep asking. The water should be quite warm, but not hot. You could keep warming it up each successive rinse, but definitely don't start with cold water. Also, don't squeeze crazy hard. Same thing as with the temp. Start gently and ramp it up. I don't jam the end of it in too far either. Use the first couple attempts to dial all these things in a bit, starting by erring on the side of caution. If you're hesitant or unsure because of different ear issues, maybe go in and ask an expert to do it for you. At least then you'll have a better idea how it all feels. Edit 3. That's not an affiliate link. I've had a few people comment and message about it. I just searched for the product on Amazon and copy-pasted one of the first links that showed what I use. First Evolutionist said. But does it feel as good? The reason I like swabs is not as much for the feeling of being clean as much it is for the glorious sensation. Something to do with vagus nerve, maybe? All I know is that it's like halfway to an orgasm. I joke that I heard so much shit growing up that my G-spot got confused and migrated to my ear instead of my ass. Physicist Notridge said. I got my ears irrigated by a nurse with a spray bottle with a little tube instead of a spray tip. It was like the size of a WD-40 but more flexible so it fit in without poking. It went way up in there and shot cold hydrogen peroxide inside me, and it was one of the most borderline sexually climactic experiences I've ever had. The wildest things came out of my ears and it felt amazing. 13/10 better than poking stuff in. Only downside is after that everything was super loud for a bit. Edit. Obligatory. My highest comment is now bound to borderline orgasm. Since people are asking, I literally just went to a walk-in clinic and said I can't hear. I think I have stuff in my ears. Talk to your GP, go to a walk-in, or order the $12 spray bottle on Amazon and get some cold hydrogen peroxide. Enjoy. Sevnak said. Fun story. The only time I've gotten that done on my ears was when I was a teenager at my first dent appointment after a long time. For some background info, my right ear is absolutely messed up and it's always had issues like infections. As a kid, I got tubes, which helped with ear infections at the cost of absolutely ruining swimming for me. Water in my ear equals instant agony. But the tubes were either removed or had fallen out by the time I was a teen. So, yeah, standard ear cleaning appointment, since I was complaining about my ear feeling weird. They go to do the spray on my right ear and it feels like they shoved a searing rod into my ear canal. I was crying, but they tried to keep going, until I literally writhed away in agony. Turns out, the hole that the tube left in my right ear never properly healed, so I just had a huge perforation in my eardrum, a huge perforation that just got blasted with the hydro cannon. So my end appointment actually gave me an ear infection. Fun times. Square Squirrel 4 said. My son had that in his and sent him to a specialist to reconstruct both eardrums. The doctor used skin from right behind the tragus to patch the hole. If your aunt didn't refer you to someone to get that repaired, you need to go to someone new. Better yet, head straight for an otolaryngologist yourself. Edited to add, my son's eardrums both had tons of scar tissue around the holes, which is why the aunt said he wasn't comfortable doing it himself and sent us to a specialist. So I don't know if yours are that bad, but either way, your doctor shouldn't have ignored them and you need to go to someone else. Rika Dahl said. I work in clinical research and we had a patient on their last visit complain of an ear blockage. My coworker was a freak for those things, so she got all excited and got the flushing kit ready to do just out of the kindness of her heart. I watched her flush a gigantic ball mess of earwax out of the kid. He was horrified but then started snapshotting it to his friends. Red Hair said. The phrase I've been hearing a lot is fitness is the killer app for VR. What's crazy is the demographics. The CEO of the Supernatural VR app, I think it's Beat Saber vibes but more fitness focused, was on a podcast recently, Decoder, and he mentioned over 60% of their users are over 40. That's a wildly different kind of growth than what new tech is used to. Brooke Pride said, I just read a term for the detrimental version of this recently. Revenge bedtime procrastination. It is especially seen when a person feels they do not get personal time or have lack of control in their life. Alt Perspective Zero said, yeah, this is the one I most relate with. I've been finding myself staying up later and later, and I hate it. Lately I've been getting to sleep around 7 to 8 a.m. I take care of a parent all day. At night when they're in bed is the only time I have to myself to just focus on whatever it is I want to focus on. It started with me staying up until 2 a.m., then 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and so on. I keep telling myself I'll go to bed earlier, but when it actually comes time to do that, I just want to stay up longer and longer, just because the lack of anything going on is so nice. Edit. I didn't expect this to get so much attention, so I'll just give a disclaimer that my intention with this wasn't to complain so much as to commiserate with someone on the feeling of being addicted to late-night solitude. Since I didn't intend to go into much detail about the help I give, and just described it as taking care of a parent all day, I get why some people are confused as to how I can go to sleep as late as 8 a.m. and still help them, so I'll talk about that a little more. For starters, 7 to 8 a.m. is the worst my schedule gets, and that's what it has been the past few days, but it's not the norm. I'd say on average I get to sleep around 4 to 6 a.m., and wake up around 9 to 10 a.m. Alt Perspective Zero said, my mom has cerebral palsy. She is wheelchair bound, but can still do quite a bit on her own. So, it's not like I'm by her side 24/7, helping her with simple things like moving room to room, or anything like that. But I am available to her all day as she needs me. I get her in and out of bed, prepare meals, take care of laundry, take her to appointments, stuff like that, and anything in between that she might need help with throughout the day, week, month, year. There are still things she can do on her own. For example, if she just wants some food that doesn't require any prep, like some yogurt or cereal, she can get it out of the fridge pantry on her own if it's in her reach. So, there are really only 2 times per day that she will always, without a doubt, require help, in the morning after waking up, and at night when going to bed. I also make dinner for her basically every night. Between all of that, I do have time for midday naps, which I've been taking very often lately. However, there's no guarantee that I won't be woken up from those. So long as she's awake, there's no guarantee I'll be able to sit down and focus on anything for an extended period. I am always keeping an ear out for her in case she is trying to get my attention, be it casually mentioning that she needs help with the TV, or yelling for me that her wheelchair is stuck on something in her bedroom. That's a huge part of the appeal of nighttime for me. I can actually just sit down and listen to music without worrying about not hearing her calling for me, for example. During the day, there are no guarantees that I'll have long periods of free time without her requiring help. But at night, I do have the guarantee, barring some very rare circumstances, and that's what makes the nighttime so appealing. Alan Monroe said, chapstick. Edit. In case anyone is interested, I don't use chapstick the brand but Lipsil cause it's cheap and Vaseline at home cause it's bomb. Chapstick the brand sucks and dries your lips out. I just don't know what other general term you'd use for the stuff. Edit 2. Lip balm is the term I'm looking for. Thanks guys, lol, it's been a long day, week, year, life. Receipt27 said, takeaway delivery. To the point that I'm angry while choosing my order and eating it. I think I have a genuine problem. Edit to address some common themes. Takeaway delivery is not oxymoronic in my dialect. It's a perfectly common phrase meaning a takeaway meal that has instead been delivered. In British dialect, a takeaway refers to the type of eatery, not necessarily the manner in which you receive the food. In my particular circumstance, I'm referring to weekday lunches. I already get a combination of HelloFresh and groceries for dinner, and I'm a perfectly good cook. I appreciate the suggestions, but any suggesting I simply learn to cook are pretty moot at this point. I've become aware this sounds a lot like binge eating disorder. I'll be looking into it and getting professional help if I need to. Quite a few people have indicated they'd like a subreddit for group support for this kind of issue. I find it really hard to believe that one doesn't already exist, but if I can't find one, I'll make one and invite those who have indicated interest. Thank you for all the kind, genuinely useful and heartwarming comments. It's nice to know I'm not alone and not destined to live like this forever. Remarkable Regret 80 said, I never lived in a country where takeout food wasn't crazy expensive, so I always wonder how anyone can afford this. Is it an American thing? Because even with a decent salary where I live, you'd be wasting tons of money every month by ordering takeout. Also, given that I need quite a bit to be full, so small portions like you get from restaurants often don't really cut it. Blaine the Mono said, the shitty thing is it's not even that good. I feel like 80% of the time I order food delivery, it's not nearly as good as I was expecting. Temperature's weird, soggy, shaken up, or just makes you feel disgusting because you're eating it on your couch instead of in a restaurant. It's always underwhelming. Edit. One more massive downside that I hate is the amount of plastic waste that you always have when you order takeout. It's one thing if you're ordering fast food and it's just in a bag, but if you order from an actual restaurant, they're likely going to package your food in those single-use plastic containers. It just feels so wasteful to throw all that away. I know you can reuse them, but I already have an entire cabinet full of mismatched Tupperware, as I'm sure everyone else does. Jebsworthy said, fuck me, I actually had to scroll down past popcorn to see this answer. I hear you, man, currently drowning my sorrows right now. I've tried pretty much every drug that isn't regularly injected, and alcohol is by far the one I yearn for. I can do a week or two, but then I'm back suckling on a bottle. Maybe we'll make it one day. Look after yourself, man. I hope things turn around. Capital X. Idlebiddle said, I'm a recovering heroin addict. I injected heroin for 13 years. I recently quit. I've been clean 9 months. With the help of methadone. I've never been clean this long before, and I can honestly say I never want to do it ever again. Then 3 months after quitting, I quit smoking cigarettes too. I switched to a vape and lowered the nicotine levels until I was down until 1 milligram nicotine and quit. I know how hard it is to quit doing stuff. It's the hardest thing I've ever gone through, but once you get past the first few weeks it starts to get easier. Now my problem is food. I've switched to eating. So now I'm working on dieting, and man, this one is hard. Cause you have to eat. All I had to do was not do heroin or smoke, but you still gotta eat, so it's hard to lose weight. But I'll be damned if I didn't make it this far to be healthy just to get diabetes. LOL. So just wanted you to know that you're not alone. And you are so much stronger than you think you are? Skiriskira said, houseplants. I have so many houseplants that when friends who haven't been over before come over, I get a lot of faces, followed by intense questioning. Short version summation, it takes a whole day to check and water everyone. I use 16 gallons of water a week. No, not everyone is watered every week. Yes, I've killed a lot while learning how to houseplant. IDK for sure, but close to 400 most likely. Oops, tried to edit and failed the first time. Edit. I know you're all so curious and want to see, but I'm kind of terrified to post photos of my home here. Some DMs have called me a hoarder, some have called me the reason that plant poaching is taking a toll on native jungles, some have even accused me of being the reason that the fresh water in their areas are low. One person even went out of their way to DM me to tell me that the environment would be better off if I killed myself, and these people are the reason I've chosen plants. They don't talk back and they don't have negative juju. The mighty moonworm said, if it's dry patches of brown, it's probably getting too much Sunday. If it starts yellow and your plant is kinda droopy, you're over or under watering it. If this oil feels dry, soak it for a half hour or so. It's done when the top of the soil is wet again. If the soil is wet, just stop watering until this oil feels dry around the surface, then just check it daily and add water when you notice the tip is dry again. Just enough to get it damp, but not soggy. Ferns usually like moist soil, but with really good drainage so they don't get waterlogged. Even better is just having high humidity. That's why they grow so well. I'm sandy soil where I'm at here in Georgia. Lots of humidity, but the soil isn't dense. Wasidus77 said, spending money. That doesn't mean I have a whole lot of money to spend, I just can't seem to stop looking at store apps or yard sales or going out to eat when I don't need to. My wife reins me in for a lot of it, but I impulse buy shit I absolutely don't need all the time. Maybe it's more of an impulse control problem, but it typically always involves money. For example, I bought custom eye contacts based off the Rinnegan and another Manjek Sharingan from the show Naruto. I'm 33. Association Fast 8723 said. My friend calls them thought chips. Once I went a whole week basically only eating them, and I swear my teeth felt like they were going to fall out of my mouth. That's how bad they made my gums hurt. Also, there's a girl somewhere in the Southwest who made an art exhibit dedicated to flamin' hot Cheetos, and she was talking about how she had to get her stomach pumped once from eating too many. And she still eats them. And when I read that, I couldn't even judge her because I know in my heart I would do the same thing. They hurt so good. 81 Satellites said. The flavor and texture are significantly better. I find that stovetop popcorn is more evenly cooked and has a more tender texture and a better moisture content, so it doesn't seem dry. Unlike microwave popcorn, there is no spongy or rubbery texture. Until you have stovetop you won't know what I mean, but if you can compare them side by side the difference is pretty obvious. The flavor is a big step up as well. I find stovetop to be generally more flavorful and a little sweeter, probably from using fresh kernels for popping. But it is also given a gentle coating of oil due to the cooking process, so that makes all of the popped kernels more buttery. It's hard to describe, now that I'm trying, but trust me when I say that once you try proper stovetop popcorn from proper kernels, you won't be going back. I also strongly suggest using coconut oil to cook Pop-It. The general heat characteristics are ideal and it has a very mild flavor, so it doesn't really impact the flavor of the popped corn. Risper said. Dog collars and dog gear. I have one dog and like 120 plus fancy collars for her. I had to unfollow collar makers because I can't stop myself from overbuying sometimes Lameo, but it makes me happy and I never have gone broke over it. I just know I look insane with that many collars, leashes, bandana, etc. Wow, this comment got more attention than I thought. Here's Willow and some of her fancy collars for you all to enjoy. http://imgur.com/gallery/txbza40. And thanks for the award. Vilka Vanzarevich said. Diet Coca-Cola is the only thing I need in terms of food drinks. I drink 1 to 2 cans a day because it's not cheap and I so look forward to the late morning post-workout and evening Coke. Needs to be a can though, I swear the stuff from plastic bottles fucks with the taste. The best thing is glass bottles, but I haven't seen those around here in ages. While I'm a pretty picky and monotonous eater, yay autism, and I can get slightly upset when any of my foods aren't here, nothing matches the drama llama I become if there's no Diet Coca-Cola and I can't go get it. Thankfully I'm the only one who drinks it in the house. Slingasla said. Naps. I can take 2-3 a day and then go to bed before 9 p.m. Ada. Yes, I do have severe chronic depression. How could you tell? That's a lot of the issue. I am on 4 different classes of antidepressants as well, all of which can cause drowsiness. That said, I was a sleepaholic long before I was getting treatment. I'm also on hormonal birth control, which can be a bitch as well for sleepiness. Also diagnosed migraine disorder, hypersensitive nervous system. Migraine naps do represent a decent portion of my naps. I have had a ton of blood work done and have asked about my thyroid. I've always been told it's normal, but I'm still skeptical. Yes, I take a multivitamin. I also eat fairly well, could be better, but small meals 5-6 times a day help. Big meals feel like taking an Ambien. Have not been tested for narcolepsy. I definitely should be looking into that. Thanks for the suggestion. Sorry for the long edit. I know it's annoying as hell. But question for all the people suggesting CPAP, I sleep like a rock at night, no snoring or breathing issues. I do talk in my sleep. Could it still be possible to have sleep apnea without all the classic symptoms? You all have convinced me to get a sleep study and another metabolic panel. Your Yam said. I think it should be more common knowledge that it's not actually entirely possible to change your circadian rhythm. To an extent, many night owls can adjust to a normal sleep schedule, but at great cost to our own mental and physical health. I'm absolutely not saying that you aren't insomniac. I think the definition of insomnia is taking more than 30 minutes to fall asleep on like 3/7 days. But do correct me on that. I just remember reading the number and being like, wow, those are amateur numbers. I often lay awake for hours despite being very strict about going to bed on time, and I'm not diagnosed with insomnia. But yeah, like 30% of people are morning people, 30% are night owls, and the rest fall somewhere in the middle, so the society that forces everyone to conform to an early bird schedule is ridiculously detrimental. Even if you do manage to sleep enough hours, if they don't line up with your natural circadian rhythm, your sleep quality is reduced, and I won't even start getting into what that means for you physiologically. It is a lot. Code Overflow said, fast food with delivery. It's dumb how addicting, easy, rewarding the lack of effort it is. It gets to the point that I get home from work, with time to cook, with food on the fridge to prepare, look at the kitchen and feel myself deflate and all strength leave my body. What's one more delivery? It drains me physically, mentally, and monetarily. Yet it's completely legal, advertised, encouraged. Was never like that until 1-2 years after living in a house by myself. It's gotten to the point that I prefer to drive 40 minutes to my parents' house just to eat a proper home-cooked meal. I'm sure they appreciate the visits, but I bet they think I'm do it because I'm overworked. I am, but that's not the reason, and have no time to cook. Sweet Gale said, I too can attest to the addictive nature of fanfiction. The tagging systems make it far easy to find fics that fits your taste. You spend an evening exploring a fanfiction site and playing with its search engine and end up adding 100 fics to the read later list that'll take you an estimated 2 years to read. I personally took it one step further and started collecting physical copies of popular fanfics. Sometimes it's the authors themselves who run crowdfunding campaigns to produce small print runs of maybe 100 books. Sometimes the fans get together to organize larger runs of 1,000 books or more. I find it fascinating and absolutely amazing. Saint Umbro said, playing with my macaw. Not a euphemism, I've had her for about a year and I just love the shit out of her. She's beautiful, sweet, loud at times but not too bad. I've never had such a loyal animal and I love playing with her and taking her out on free flights. When I come home from work, I'm immediately met with so much love and affection from both my wife and my macaw. Her name is Mary. It's just the best, and I'm at a point now where when I'm at work, all I want to do is come home and be with my family. I used to be an avid video gamer and went down a path of unhealthiness. But ever since I got my bird, I've been going hiking and bike riding with her. It's the best. Madman42Q said, I'm right there with you, friend. I'm battling food addiction while trying to recover from complex PTSD. Eating something, especially something salty or sugary, it lets me feel something besides anxiety, anger, sadness, and a lot of other unpleasant feelings. It's a short dopamine kick and I crave it all the time. I made a goal of reducing my weight before my 40th birthday in October. This has helped me gain some self-control and discipline. However, it's also made me very, very unhappy. I've taken away the one thing that makes me happy right now, so I'm in a very bad place. And thanks to my PTSD, I can't even make myself reach out to the people I love and ask them to help me. Vitamonster said, I'm surprised how far I had to scroll to see this. I just eat all the time, even if I'm just a bit hungry. My roommate and I were going to make food last night when I got back from a movie about an hour away. Before I left the theater, I walked to a gyro shop and wolfed down a gyro. On the drive back I was looking up BK locations so I could get chicken fries and a chocolate Oreo milkshake. The BK's shake machine was down so I ditched it and went to a McDonald's to get a frappe instead. By the time I got home neither of us felt like cooking, so we ordered Chinese food. I'm constantly eating drive-through stuff before going home to get food with other people. And that's just regular behavior. When work has me stressed out, I stress eat a fuck ton. I only have it under control most of the time because I have an Adderall prescription. What a healthy way to avoid overeating. I just forget eat until dinner and then I eat about 2/3 of or more than a day's calories once. When I'm off it, I can go haywire. I work from home so I'll wake up early, or late and hope nobody needs me while I'm out and supposed to be working, go get like 3 decent-sized breakfast items at McDonald's or Wendy's. If I go to MCDS, I'll get a large hot chocolate too. Then I feel just as hungry, want to eat again by the time my roommates are thinking about lunch. I didn't even start to stress eat or be as self-conscious about how much I eat until after I started trying to eat healthy. I occasionally eat healthy and track my calories, and get in shape. It's been a while since then though. Pandemic totally shot my budding gym and healthy eating routine.